And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, January 7th, 2023. It is Season 17, Episode 1. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
Welcome into the show, everybody. We'll do this real quick. That Wendy has prepared. We prepared this 2 weeks ago. Not knowing that she wouldn't be here today, but it came in handy. All right. Happy New Year, folks. 2023, Season 17. If you want to get in touch with us, you can call, you can reach out to us. Our phone number is 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. Head on over to Discord. We've got Discord hooked up over here, so you can join in with the conversation. Talk to us on the air through the miracles of the PC. And we would love to talk to you. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to see how your New Year went, how your Christmas went. Did you get any good games? Did you play any good games in the time away? We're going to be covering all of that, I guess. What we played, what we got, what we got for Christmas that may be related to gaming, if anything. I would include gift cards in there because I usually spend the gift cards on some sort of gaming apparatus of some type. Maybe it's a USB drive. Maybe it's a memory card for the Switch. Maybe it's money towards a Steam Deck or whatever it may be. They still count. AC Wright says his family still has to celebrate Christmas next week. Man, you are behind. It's still 2022 in your world. Yeah, I don't know. It happens. I always have to remember, because I do another show on one of the other stations 7 days a week, and telling people Merry Christmas, but I also have to realize that a lot of people, they have to work on Christmas, or they do Christmas maybe the day after because they're waiting for people to come home, or they do it the day before. Not everybody does it on the same day, and so it's one of those things. And apparently, AC Wraith doesn't like to stick with any he doesn't even like the month that it's in. He says, nope. I'm going to wait if you wait until 2 or 3 weeks after the holiday, you're buying gifts that are cheap. Not cheap because, they're cheap quality. They're marked down. Yeah. Like for Christmas now, if you're having Christmas next week, you could get somebody a Christmas tree for next year and you've paid maybe $25, $30. I don't know what they're going for, but I know they're discounted. Yeah. You get those after Christmas sales going on. So I don't know. Probably a good idea there, AC Ray. My cousins managed to give me their gift cards before the Steam sale ended. Gamer Edie gave me a big one on the last day. The rest of the family missed the sale. Yeah, that's right. I did it again. So for the Thanksgiving thing, I went into Steam and I went on my wish list and I was like, boop, 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 add to cart. And then I would, trim the cart from there saying, okay, that's far too much money. Let's see, what don't we want? And then, move it out from there. And then I leave the stuff in my cart saying, all right, I'm going to pick that up, but I'm going to wait because there's still time for me to change my mind. There's still time for somebody to say, ooh, here's a hidden gem you should pick up or look at or whatever the case may be. So I kind of leave myself open to do that. And then it rolls around and look at it and I'm like, I can wait. I don't need to get those right now. I can wait. Christmas came around. I did the same thing. Mm-hmm. And then got around to it on the last day. And I was like, those can wait. Am I going to play them? I don't know. I can hold off. I'm kind of glad I did. Again, it's not going to matter because the Steam is having a mystery sale or something. It's one of their, it's one of these I don't want to say midterm, but quarterly sales that they do, I guess. And this one's focused on mystery games or puzzle game. I say puzzle, I'm thinking puzzle, but it's one of these where you got to, solve the crime or something. There's a theme
to the sales of it.
It's a theme to it, and probably you could argue that, hey, that doesn't fit that theme or something like that, but whatever. The fact that it's a mystery theme, which gives me the puzzle solving vibes, makes me think, ooh, that's a good one to wait on. Even still, if it was discounted as much as it was for Christmas or Thanksgiving or even lower than that, I'll load them into the cart, I'll wait for it, and then I won't do it. I'm almost positive. I'm almost positive that I won't. And I'm actually perfectly fine with that because the prices of those games I keep putting in there keep getting lower the longer I wait on it. I know there is a certain bedrock of a price point It's like, all right,
You sure about that?
this is it. We can't really go lower than this.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you sure about that?
I don't know. Sleeping Dogs has not gone lower than like $5. The definitive edition or whatever it is. It doesn't. It's $5 or $7. I don't know. It's been that way for years. Whenever it's on sale, sure. If there's a price mistake, yes, of course, it can go lower. But I feel like there is a. Yeah, I feel like there's a rock bottom to the. He's here early. I feel like there's a rock bottom to the price. You know, I think it only goes so far. But yeah, the PC, you can get in touch with us there. We are streaming right now on Twitch, just to get back on track here. They veered off. Go to twitch.tv. You can find us there and join us in the chat room live while we broadcast. We're on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I hope you had a great Christmas. We hope you had a great New Year's as well. And we've already got a phone call, so let's just jump right into it and take the call. Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. What's going on?
Not a lot. What's going on with you?
Y'all have a good Christmas. Happy New Year.
Things were good here. We haven't even jumped into it, man. We just took your call. But, yeah, Christmas was great. New Year's was great. I haven't asked RJ yet how his was, but, well, his PC's dead, so that's not good. Yeah. He's having some PC issues. So, which we'll get into. Not that there's a lot to get into. We just sort of sussed it out here before, even while the music was playing in the intro of the show, we were sitting here talking about it. Yep. So, which is hence the delay of us getting started here. No, how was yours? Everything go all right?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good, wonderful. Did you get any games?
Nope. Just bought some of the some digital ones that was on the sale that I've been keeping an eye on. I think one of them was the AtRaiser, the remaster of AtRaiser that was on Super NES years ago. It finally came down to about, I think it was a little over half off. Got it, and then I got the PlayStation 5 digital version of the Subnautica Below Zero, the sequel to the original Subnautica one, and been playing that some too, and just been taking it easy. That's about all I've been playing right now. Yeah.
I didn't deviate from the path over the holidays as well, as far as gaming is concerned. But we'll be going over that here pretty soon. So. Well, good, man. I'm glad it was good for you. I'm hoping that 2023 has started off great for you, and I hope it continues that way as well, man. So thank you.
One of the other things I saw recently, one of the guys that talked about the video game news on the YouTube channel, one of the ones I'll follow, somebody had a repro Castlevania Dracula X that was a PC Engine Super CD. It was a Japanese CD game that only came out in Japan. We did get the game on Super Nintendo, but it wasn't the best version possible. But the original one from Japan on the TurboGrafx CD is super expensive, and there was a listing of one on eBay that was a repro that PC Engine Works did, and it was water graded at a 9.2 as it was like brand new, and he was selling it as original game, the original release game and not a repro.
Yeah.
And the guy that posted the video about it, was giving out for information and all, and the sellers then wanted to sue him now and send him a personal email and wanting to sue him for defamation.
First of all, I didn't know that video games were graded like comic books were. I guess because they're collectibles.
They can be when you, you can have them. You can have them graded. I don't necessarily know if there's a requirement as to it needs to be this many years old or something like this before you can do a grading on it or something. I mean, I can't take them in a copy of Sonic Frontiers and be like, grade this.
Unless it was a limited edition.
I maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Could I even take that in? I have no idea. I've never looked into that.
Chris, you said it was they said it was graded at a 9.2?
Yeah, it was graded as a 9.2, and it was a repro one, and he went over how to prove it and everything, and the guy wants to sue him now.
And they put this on eBay, some online auction thing?
Yeah, it was on eBay.
Yeah, now eBay, if anyone doesn't know, it's all about that description. You got to read that thing perfectly and make sure you understand what you're getting.
Yeah.
Because, the eBay listing, he stated that it was the original one, but, the guy posted the YouTube video, had shown different pictures and did the research and proved that it was a reproduction made by this, famous, this other company that did very good reproduction of all the different games that they made that are very popular. So they had good reproduction ones, but they weren't crappy ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those reproductions from that company, and he stated on the auction that it's the original press, and it's the original manufactured one from Japan, and not a reproduction. He's lying on it basically, but he did. And the fact that Wada graded it and called it an original one, and it's not.
It's not, but well, okay, I get what you're saying. The description of it is obviously deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
But if anywhere in that description it says something to the effect of, this is a reprint or whatever the case may be, anything in there, then I feel like he's CYA'd on that. Possibly, I really don't know, but I know that I know usually those things don't go out well for the people who got scammed. Now, obviously, if you send them a box and it's got something else in it, I've seen that happen many times.
Plenty of times, yeah.
Where they've sent them the box of like a PS5 and you open it up and it's, I don't know, it's a phone book. Something, phone books. Who has those anymore?
I do.
But you know what I'm saying. It's something completely different. Then you've got a case on you, but it all depends. Depends on the description. Even in those, if somebody said, here's a PlayStation 5, by the way, you're only getting a box. Mm-hmm. They can shove whatever else they want to shove in there and send it to you and say you're only getting a box.
Anybody that buys it would have a very tough time proving it was a repro, even though he stated it was the original release and not a reproduction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, keep us posted on that. Let us know how that goes.
Yeah, I can send you a link to a YouTube video if you're interested in looking up the info on it or seeing what the guy was talking about later on.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll send it to your Facebook page and all.
That works, man.
Good.
All right, y'all have a good one. We'll talk to y'all later.
You too, man.
Right.
Take care
now.
All right, bye.
Yeah, that was it was one of the messed up things about eBay in its infancy. That was a problem early on.
I ran into that problem when I was buying movie posters. This was back before I think it was before I worked at the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
But I was buying one sheets for films that were coming out and stuff, and I can't remember what the movie was, but I was like, "Oh, good, I'm getting this poster, and that's great." And then it came in, and it was poster cards, like postcards.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah, because when you think of movie posters, you think about the ones that hang outside the theater, those huge ones that could take up almost half a wall of a room.
Well, yeah, your usual 24 by 36, I think is what the dimensions are.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Not a lobby banner, not one of those, but just a regular one sheet. That's a standard size one sheet. And I don't know what I paid for those. And it wasn't, at the time it probably was, but I think it was like 30 or something bucks. And there was 2 little poster cards. And I was just like, oh man. I didn't fight it because I went back to the thing and looked at it and I was like, man, because it was right there in the description.
Yeah, the seller told you exactly what it was.
I did not. That was all on me. This is going years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, for one, I haven't bought a lot of stuff on eBay. I've been trying to sell stuff on eBay, but I haven't bought a lot on eBay at all. If I do, I'm buying it from like the eBay version of the store, like Newegg, who sells computer parts, has an eBay store.
Yeah.
And so I'll, make sure that it's connected in that way before I make a purchase usually.
Yeah, because it don't take long to mess up a reputation on there, man, especially with that grading system they got there.
Yeah. I can't remember the last thing I bought off of eBay actually. It was probably a Steelbook.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to finish up my Mondo collection of Steelbooks to get the ones that I had missed previous before I started the collection on that. And I went to eBay to round out that collection, which I did. So,
I don't recall what I bought from eBay, but I do remember selling things off there. And I remember when I was selling things on there, I was like real meticulous and wanted to make absolutely sure I didn't do anything to give a hint of being of scamming or anything like that, the shipping and anything like that. When the money came in, I was ship it out that day or the very next day.
Oh no, I'm very
popped on that because man,
it's ready to go. Like as soon as I get a bid, it's ready to go. The current thing I've got up there isn't because I've been trying to sell that for months and months and months now. I'm not ready to budge on the price.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, what do we have? How much time do we have? I don't know. Might be too early to take a break. Maybe. I don't know. AC Wraith got a bunch of stuff here. He says, okay, so I don't even know what some of this stuff is. Arcana Heart Love Max 6 stars with, I don't know, what is that, 7 exclamation points after it? And then extend with all DLC? I don't know what that is.
Fighting game.
Okay. Is that just how the title's written?
Yeah.
Okay. Love Max 6 stars extend with a bunch of exclamation points.
If you watch enough anime or
don't.
play enough Japanese anime based games,
I also
you're
don't.
You're gonna get some long, drawn out titles. That's why they have nicknames for it.
Yeah.
for
Well, I mean,
I
I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah. But see, when he writes it out like that, it looks like he's really excited about Arcana Heart Love Max 6 stars. And he's really happy. Not knowing, without context, you would think, oh, wow, he's really happy about that first one he got there. Mm-hmm. Anyway, what do you get? Cat Maze, Cat Quest 2, Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition, Dunk Lords, Lego DC Supervillains Deluxe, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, Marvin's Mittens, Monster Sanctuary, Super Blood Hockey, Tech Beat Heart, Zombie Rollers, and Zakaria Pinball Expert Pack. Wendy walked by my PC screen a couple of days ago. I don't know how long ago it was. Mm-hmm. And I had the order page for... It was Sam's. They were selling these... they're called AT Games. And they have stand-up arcades, and they have arcade machines, and they have pinball tables. Mm-hmm. And so... the pinball Legends table runs usually $700.
Yeah.
And it's a nice size. I mean, it's not, I was going to say regulation size. It's not regular size of a pinball machine. It's a little bit smaller. But it usually runs for like $700. And I remember last year I saw it on sale, I think for like $5 or $4. And I thought, man, I should have grabbed that. I don't know if that was last year or the year before last. But afterwards, I was like, man, I should have picked that up. I really should have picked that up. The pinball table. I had played one at Sam's a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They had a display unit set up, and I played, was it Black Hole? No, Creature from the Black Lagoon? I don't know. It was one of the tables, because it's a digital pinball table.
Digital table, yeah.
Yeah. It's basically just the play field is a TV screen. The back glass is a TV screen. And then the digital board on the bottom is a TV screen. It's all displays. Yeah. So you can put whatever you want on there. Anyway, it's on sale now for $350, down from like $750. It's a really good deal right now, and everybody on Slick Deals keeps saying it'll probably go lower. It hasn't yet, but it seems like they're trying to get rid of their supply. Their stock, and so a lot of people think it may go lower than that. The reason I'm curious, she looked at it and said, "Oh God, you want a pinball machine? Where are we going to put a pinball machine in the house?"
I'm about to say you don't know Scott very well. If he's thinking about pinball, yeah, he will make space.
Okay? Who needs exercise equipment? I can just lift up the pinball machine every now and again. So
beds are overrated.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, I found a thread online, and I found tons of videos where you can basically just install your own very cheaply built PC. We're talking, I don't know, $150 maybe for a PC that you can install into the cabinet of, I mean, it's gutted anyway. There's nothing in there. Yeah. So you install it in there, you do that. There's tons of tutorials on how you can hack these things.
Yeah, it'd be like a MAME machine.
It is, but it's all pinball.
Yeah.
The amount of tables, real world tables, these aren't like made up tables. These are like real, like if I wanted to play the Addams Family table, I could download it and put it on there and play it.
Yeah.
If I wanted to play Funhouse, which was the first table that ever got me hooked on pinball, I could download and play it. If they have the 2 pinball machines I played as a child that I remember, one being at my aunt and uncle's place, and then one that we had at my house growing up. It's an old pinball machine, had a Viking theme, and I can't remember what it's called. Mm-hmm. But it's a very old pinball machine, but I used to play it all the time. That was in the old days. There was nothing there wasn't a lot of bells and whistles going on the board. The ball went up, hit some bumpers, and came back down, and you shot it back up again.
Yeah.
There was a horseshoe thing in the front, in the center, where you could kind of get a loop going every now and again, but that was about it. So, if that is available somewhere, I would love to download those tables and then put them on there. I would love to do that. You can also do that with their At Games stand-up arcade cabinet. You can switch that one around and do whatever. There's a lot of modding that can be done to that pinball machine to really make it something. And the investment maybe would be $400 or $500 total.
Yeah.
To get it to do what you want. That includes buying the machine itself and then everything else you're going to have to do with it. I like the idea. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, obviously, but I like that idea. It's kind of what I always wanted to do, but I wanted to take the pinball machine that used to be in the house, that is now at my aunt and uncle's basement. It doesn't work anymore. I want to gut it, put in TV screens. I want to make it a digital pinball machine, but a full-scale digital pinball machine. That's going to cost a little bit more because I'll have to buy the TV screens. We have calls already, or more calls now. Hey, this is In-Game Chat. You're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
It's Christy, and I have more info on that product you're talking about. I think they made an additional joystick controller swap out where you could have arcade controls.
You do,
and
yes.
You can do that too. So
you can put that on the base of the pinball machine, kind of where, if you ever walked up on it, you know where the flippers are on a pinball machine, right?
Yeah.
Down there. And so it's at that bottom, like they cover up the flipper. Well, it's not flippers because it's TV screen. It's digital, but there is space there where you would put that, and you would also have a joystick. So then you could take that screen that is laying vertically and
arcade main machine.
Yeah, and you could have a big stretched out Pac-Man field or a Donkey Kong field.
Yeah, the
like
cocktail table.
The tall vertical shooter ones, all the different ones that you could take advantage of that, like the layout of that TV, in that system.
Yep, exactly.
The pizza restaurant format.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. I know.
And as you were talking about earlier, RJ was, going on, you don't have room, Wendy, don't have room for this. Like, trust me, he'll make room for it, right?
For a pinball table, probably.
Yeah, if anybody's interested, and if they got tons of room, I found an old Jurassic Park, The Lost World, sit-down shooter arcade machine for $200, unknown if it works, but I really don't have the room. I don't know how to repair the darn thing, but it's nice to see something like that in the wild, even if it's unknown if it's going to actually function anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about the arcade machines now, that because the decline of them, I guess, there's a whole bunch of spare parts sitting out there.
Tons, yeah.
But yeah, a buddy of mine gets them from eBay.
Yeah.
He has to take a trip, like drive to Florida or whatever, just take the trailer, hook it up to the back of a truck, go down there and get about 3 or 4 full-size cabinets. They just have to be put together.
Speaking of stuff like that, there's actually companies out there that still make replacement parts brand new for different pinball machines, like the talking boards, the different certain boards and stuff, and they make components, that do that completely. And I think you can get like one board that you can select the dip switches and everything. It'll do like 15 or 20 different pinball machines, and it has a manual how to set it up and everything. If your original board and your pinball machine is broken, you can get a replacement brand new and set everything and just replace it if you don't have the time or the knowledge of how to repair your original board if it's impossible to repair it.
No, there's a big, I don't want to call it aftermarket thing, but there's a big what is it? Not amateur, but
a professional. It's basically new.
Yeah, it's just people kind of keeping it going for the private owners and stuff like that who are, and I guess probably for some of the pinball halls that are still around. Like I know the Seattle Pinball Museum where you can go and play. They still got to have places who can work on those. They try and do that themselves, but when they need parts, they got to go somewhere. So
and they even sell the individual IC chips and stuff.
They do.
If you need a certain one, you can pin it down to a certain part if you just need a little bit of something.
If you need that, like the pinball tables that I was talking about playing that were in my house, didn't have chips, didn't have things like that. I mean, they had what, solenoids or whatever.
Oh, it's an old relay type one.
Yeah,
relay
Yep. Yep, it's old. It's very old.
Those are ones that are worth well keeping because basically, if it has no circuit boards and everything, it's mainly dirty contacts on the relay.
It is. The scoreboard itself was just a rolling, physical numbers that rolled, to add up to.
Rolling switch that has little positions cut out that triggers relays. It rotates constantly. Yeah.
That's it.
Some of those videos I've sent a link to you that the repairs of pinball machines, you'll see a lot of those, and I think it's Joe's Arcade or something, but he does like 5 or 6 videos on different ones that he gets in and repairs them, and he goes through from beginning to end what he had to do to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It'd be right up your alley whenever if you had time for something like that, whenever.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling back and letting me know.
I'll send you a link to his webpage where you can look around if you ever have time down the road if you wanted to waste some time sometime and had spare time.
I am so good at doing that. I will definitely do that. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
Oh, Soldier Boy.
Hey, man. What's up?
Hey, you finally talking about something I can relate to and understand.
Pinball?
Oh, man. I worked, at least 8 years high school and a couple years in college in the old Aladdin's Castle, man, let me tell you. I got to play all I wanted, baby. Trust me. Before the store opened, after the store opened, I was like, not a problem. We got plenty of tokens here. And click. But, here's a couple things that was interesting is, first of all, I wasn't a big fan of, was it Bali? Not a big fan, but I like that older brand. What was it called? Golib?
Oh, Gottlieb.
Gottlieb. Yeah.
Gottlieb, yeah. Yeah, that was some of my favorite. And then, man, you brought back memories when you said, was it Madhouse? Was it Funhouse?
It was Funhouse. Funhouse.
That was the one with like a little puppet head. You had to shoot the ball in his mouth.
That is correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Midway. Midway made that. So out of Chicago.
Yeah, I remember that. And a lot of the machines, but I like a lot of the older machines. There was just more to me. All these, 3 or 4 tiered. It just got ridiculous after a while. There was no really skill involved in it. But do you remember this one? This is one that I really loved. And it was kind of in mid-transition. It played off Laserdisc, and it was called Dragon's Lair.
Oh, yeah.
And if anybody bumped into it with their big old butt, it skipped over.
I don't remember that. I do remember seeing it, but I also remember it was the hardest game to play because I could never get my timing. The timing had to be so precise, and I could never get the timing right.
Did you ever get it on PS3?
I tried it at home, and it was still like the same amount of difficulty.
It's the same game. It's one of those perfect timing games. It's where, and it'll mislead you too. It's like everything. I think there was one screen on that game where everything in there is telling you to tap right, but you're supposed to tap like up. But so you tap right, and you're just instantly dead every time.
Yeah,
and the hardest one. The hardest one was when you had that chess. You had to jump on the chess pieces. With the knights and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, God. You had to go left, 2 left, right, up, down, 2. Oh, my God.
And I think they made a sequel to that. Space Ace, I believe, is what it was called.
It was Dragon.
That's right. They sure did.
Oh, there was Dragon's Lair 2.
Dragon's Lair 2 Time Warp. Then you had Space Ace. And I don't know if there was a sequel to Space Ace.
I'm not sure about that.
I do remember Space Ace.
Those were all, what, Don Bluth?
Don Bluth, yeah. Don Bluth Studios, yeah.
The old animations. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don Bluth.
And they were played on a laser disc, a big disc,
right? They were, yes, because you could buy the laser disc. If you had a Laserdisc player at home, you could buy the Laserdisc and do that. I imagine Chris has a few of those.
Yeah. I guess Laserdisc didn't last too long. How many years did Laserdisc actually? Because it was like, if you had one, you were like the king of the neighborhood.
I don't remember it ever coming into fashion.
And they were very limited in the movies they made, too, remember?
Yeah. I only remember going over to people's houses and seeing that they actually had the Laserdiscs there, and like, what is this? Oh, it's a Laserdisc. Oh, okay. It was, movie with a Laserdisc on.
Was that before VHS? And beta?
I would say yes. I feel like yes.
I want to say it was beta VHS Laserdisc.
I don't know. I don't exactly know I could do a whole history of Laserdisc. I'm sure we could find out for you to figure out.
Yeah, because I remember Laserdisc just had when I was young, I'll show you my age.
1978.
8-tracks were there. I remember 8-tracks were out, and then suddenly my 8-track went to a cassette player, and I thought that was great. And I said, well, I still have to fast forward between the songs. And then they came out with that option where you could push this, and it would see the I guess the gap between the songs,
Yeah.
and it would fast forward to the next song and then play the next song. And it's just changed so much. And then the CD came out. Oh my God, that was freaky.
As far as I know,
Very
it doesn't look like it really predated much, maybe, because it says its consumer rivals were VHS and Betamax. Laserdisc never managed
so at the same time then, huh?
Yeah, Laserdisc never managed to gain widespread use in North America, largely due to high costs for the players and the inability to record TV programs.
That's right. You couldn't record on that Laserdisc. All you could do was play it. Do you remember who the manufacturer was? Let's see if you remember that. Don't look. Go Google.
Oh, well, I've been
Pioneer. Remember?
Yeah,
Remember Pioneer?
I know it's Pioneer. It says it was developed by Pioneer, Philips, MCA.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
But that was where it was really limited though, because it couldn't record on it. I forgot about that.
No. It says released December 11th, 1978, 44 years ago. It was also known as DiscoVision.
Oh my God! Now you're showing me my age.
Yeah, DiscoVision is the name of several things related to the video Laserdisc format. So there you go.
You remember the pinball?
No, go ahead.
Remember that pinball game where they had like a football field on the top, and they were mechanical, and the ball would spit up, and you hit it, and you go up a ramp or you go a flap, and the players would move around on the top?
No,
but
I'm really showing my age now.
I remember the football. I remember the football playing field that just vibrated with players on it, and they would all move around while it was vibrating. But I don't.
You mean arcade game?
No, not an arcade game. It was something you would have at home, and the whole field would vibrate while the players.
That was kind of. You had no control of it whatsoever.
None at all.
No.
None.
It was just mass
hysteria.
hysteria.
What was it? When the Mattel came out, the handheld one, we thought that was so cool.
Oh yeah. The that football game that just had the field up there and two red dots that would move around. That was it.
Two red dots.
That was it. The oh God.
I remember.
There's a Supertramp song. I think it's Supertramp.
Yeah.
There's a Supertramp song that actually sampled some of the sound effects from that game in the song. It was the first.
Wow.
It was the first time that I think it had been. I think it was the first time that electronic video game or something like that had been used in a song or something like that. I don't know. There's something that has to do with it, but it was a Supertramp song. I can't remember what it is.
I'm going to show you my age. I'm going to show you age. It was back in, I think it was in the 60s. I think it was 60s.
No, it wasn't Supertramp. It was ELO. It was ELO. It was ELO. And I want to say it was telephone line? Or is that ELO?
You might be right.
I think it is. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent here. Go ahead.
Hey, I remember when I was a little kid, and my dad took me downstairs to the bottom basement of Sears where the toys were and everything. You know, parents said you look at the toy department when you're done, right? When they're done shopping and everything. I went to this big old crowd around this TV screen. I didn't know what the hell was going on, you know. Couldn't figure it out. It was the first Pong game, or little two paddles and a damn dot.
Yeah, over on a TV screen, on a home screen?
Yep. Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you played it long enough, it messed up your TV big time.
Yeah, it did. Nobody said it. Nobody tested that out, or at least told the public that, but yeah.
No.
Nope.
But you know what? We really didn't care.
No,
you
didn't.
Did. No.
Nope.
You buy an old cheap black and white TV, you're good to go, ready to roll.
That was
a monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like that. It was like, that's got to be almost the first true video game.
It is. I mean, yeah. Most people do consider it. I want to say the first one was played on not a stereoscope, an oscilloscope, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah. And I can't remember.
Was that for the public?
No. It was. It wasn't the public, but I want to say it was the first time a game had been. Like, we took something that existed and made a game into it, a video game type of thing. But yeah, like I said, Pong is pretty much considered the first. It's really considered the first video game.
Man, we thought that when I was that age, I was like, probably 10 years old. I thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread or a UFO landing in Roswell or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, this is something out of the ordinary. And it's hard to believe it's comes. Gaming has come so far.
Oh, man. Massive.
Oh, yeah.
Massive.
Scary. It's very scary.
Well, thanks for the call, man. It's good hearing from you.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right, you take care.
Take care now.
Bye-bye. Mm-hmm. All right, we are behind. Need to take a break, and when we come back, we'll jump into what we played. I mean, this will go fast because I haven't played much of anything. It'll mostly be RJ. Did you play a lot? We'll get into it, but did you play a bunch of different things?
Played a lot, but not a big variety.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's see. We're going to go to a break here with music from a game called High on Life. It is on Game Pass right now. I mean, you can buy it too, but if you've got Game Pass. In fact, I believe it is the #1 game on Game Pass. Not currently, but the most popular game that Game Pass has ever had. I think. I'll have to look at the list here.
Most downloaded?
To find out.
Like most downloaded, something like that?
High on Life is now the most popular game on Game Pass. It's just the most popular. Never mind. It's not breaking records. It's just the most popular. It's currently beating out Halo and Forza Horizon 5.
Hey, there's a nickname for it.
I was just trying to speed things up. Horizon. So High on Life is out there right now. This is the main menu music from that game. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat very soon. He said. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from a game called Blacktail. Don't know really anything about it, but that's the music for it.
I keep thinking of Sinuous Sacrifice when I hear
I
this.
know, yeah, I get the same vibe. I get the exact same vibe from it as well. Totally do. Anyway, welcome back to the show, and we've got a few more minutes here, about 10 minutes here, I guess, before we hit the top of the hour here. Duke Frukum is hanging out in their Discord there. Steve, what's going on, man? I don't know if you've got everything set up, but you are in there. I think we've got him on. Do we have him? You there? Not hearing you, buddy. Wait a second. It must be us. Hang on. How about now?
Could have been me.
There, nope, it's us. It was us. For whatever, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the audio is muted on that side machine here.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks.
It has. It's been 2 weeks, so I don't know why that was like that. So, hey, man, Happy New Year. How was it?
It protects you guys from just people coming in and just starting screaming.
You say that, but.
Yeah, Happy New Year. What's going on, guys? It's been a while.
It has. We haven't even gone into what we played. I mean, obviously, I can throw out there that I played God of War and Destiny. That is pretty much it. Did I fire up anything? Marvel Snap, I've been going nuts with.
Wait, shocker, you played Destiny?
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. That's right. Doing the Iron Banner right now, getting through all of those.
What season are you guys on now?
What is this? Season 18, I think, or 19?
That's the one that just started in December, right?
Yeah, it is. It's the one that started in December. What is the theme on this one? I don't know what the theme on this one is. I just know that the current dungeon that's out has the Western gear that I'm going after. But yeah, so
Is it still bad weapons in Iron Banner?
It's weird game modes now. They've changed Iron Banner a lot, and now Iron Banner used to be control, right? It used to be a very I don't want to say skilled, but it was control. You'd go and whatever, cap the points, A, B, and C, and then and score your points. Now, the earlier this year, I say this year, what I meant is last year. Whenever they changed this up, they added a new game mode called Rift, which is actually an older game mode. But they brought that back and used it in Iron Banner. So you weren't doing control points anymore. You were grabbing the spark that would spawn in the middle of the map, and then you would have to take it to your opponent's base and dunk, basically. And, you'd get points as you do that. You'd win rounds. So, the first person to dunk there, that's round 1 to your team.
Sounds like an element of
round 2,
Gambit.
round 3. Kind of, sort of, but not really. I mean, it's PvP as well, but it was objective based PvP.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I know control is the same thing, or capture the point.
Yeah, occupy the space.
Exactly. So, I mean, I know that's got an objective, but that is this one. This one that they have for this segment is, I'm not sure exactly what it's called. You do have points that you capture, but after so many points have been scored while you've captured flags, a control point spawns somewhere on the map. And if you can hold that control point, you get massive amount of points for your team.
Now, are these predetermined spots or just random on
They're
the map?
predetermined on the map.
Okay.
So everybody knows where to go. Plus, you get like a countdown before it happens. All the other captured, A, B, and C, all disappear from the map.
Yeah.
And it's that one space. And so everybody just goes after that one space. And it stays there for like 60 seconds. And then it's gone. And then the cap points pop back up and you go do that until it does it again. And then everybody goes after the main control point because you get a lot more points that way. And right now, that's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a problem.
I want to say a headache.
It is, because all your Titans have their little shield bubble
Yeah.
that they put on that point.
Yeah.
And you can't kill anybody inside that shield bubble.
Exactly. That's the point.
That shield bubble lasts almost the entire 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So then you've got Titans.
So Titans everywhere.
Oh, God, it's so many Titans. It's bubbles on top of bubbles.
Yeah.
So
And you don't have a Titan.
I don't. I have a Titan, but I just don't play a Titan.
Now you need to play one.
I'm doing fine.
Really.
I'm doing fine. I let other people be Titans.
And occupy the point. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm playing my Hunter. He's doing fine. So yeah,
He's going to use that Titan more, folks.
Maybe whenever. So yeah, I mean, that's what's going on with Destiny right now. And what do we have? We finished the Christmas event. I got all of that stuff done, amazingly enough. I was very surprised how fast I got that done. And God of War, playing God of War Ragnarok. I would tell you where I'm at, but I don't want to spoil anything. So, what's a good way to put this?
I still got to play that first game. I got to get that. I got to get on that.
I think this is the easiest way I can do this. I don't want to say it's late in the game because I actually do not know where I'm at in the game. I feel I'm pretty good. I mean, I'm a good amount into the game.
Who's the last major boss you took out in that game?
I don't want to say that either.
Okay. Because that's the guy. Well, that's the guy they use for Dark Souls. Who's the last big boss you took out? To determine how far you are.
And I don't necessarily want to say that just yet. I will say right now that me and the boy are trying to track down a very big dog.
Okay.
So that's where we're at currently.
Okay.
That is where I'm at. And if anybody needs clarification on that, just call or hit me up in the Steam chat or the stream chat stuff there, and we'll tell you. What about you, man? Steve, what have you been doing?
I'll throw out some games, and you tell me what's the most interesting out of these things that I've been. Yeah, some old games, some
Cookie
new
Clicker,
games, and I'll talk about what I'm really excited for that I just kind of posted in the Discord on air chat.
Cookie Clicker is what I'm going to guess.
No. So I've been revisiting Quake Remastered, which I didn't even realize that they remastered and released on Steam. I'm finished up Back 4 Blood. I'm doing Warhammer, of course. We talked about that, I think, weeks ago, that I was getting ready for that.
Yep.
And I've recently reinstalled The Division, the original Division.
That's interesting.
On Steam. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Well, that's interesting because The Division 2 is finally being released on Steam next Thursday.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I saw where
I got a
Ubisoft
little
was
antsy and excited for that universe again.
I saw where Ubisoft was throwing their games back on Steam now.
Yeah, I was about to ask you what pulled you back into the original Division, but yeah,
Division 2 will do it. Yeah,
that'll do it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get some people to play Division 2 with me, so I said, hey, how about we blast through the missions of the first game? We won't necessarily hang out and level up and do all the other things, but we'll get through that, and then when Division 2 comes out, we can spend some time there.
Did you play Division 2 when it was just on Ubisoft's storefront, or have you just held off until the Steam release?
I played the crap out of it.
Okay, I was like, yeah, all right.
I stopped playing only because one of the people that I played with got banned because we were all doing this. We were exploiting a particular. It wasn't really even that. It wasn't even an exploit that would impact anybody else. So it's not a PvP multiplayer exploit. This is something we did to go through some of the legendary missions, and it was so broken because they attempted to fix it and patch it, and then somebody else would figure out how to reveal this exploit again, and then they would patch it, and then it happened 3 or 4 times, and at the 4th time they just mass banned everybody that did it. And I never got banned, and he was really mad about that. He got banned and I did not, and so we never ended up going back and playing it. And it was the dumbest exploit ever. It was, you had to get on a minigun, just a regular minigun that is in any place of the map, and get off it, and then immediately go into your inventory, and that would stack a damage bonus on your gun. And
okay.
You could do that like infinity times. So your damage that you would get, and instead of just like disabling the miniguns, they just like tried to figure out a way that because they couldn't, because some of the missions that you go through, the single player missions, or not single player, but the co-op missions, they require you to use some of the miniguns. So they couldn't just outright disable them all because it would impact the main game. But it was a fun little thing that we did just so that we could go through some of the legendary missions, because the regular missions were getting really boring. But it was a mass banning event for that, for that little exploit.
Can you? This has nothing to do with the. Well, first off, I don't like that. If it's an exploit done on the.
So that's not a bannable thing.
In other words,
you didn't break the code, you didn't change anything, and there you just opened a.
If a player introduces something into the game that is breaking the game, then it's on that player. But if your code introduced something that is breaking the game, and somebody uses it for exploit, then you shouldn't. That
should be banned.
I mean, obviously, maybe revoke some of their. I don't know, levels or something. I don't know. But
it's worse. It gets worse about the banning, because now I recall why he was so mad. If they just banned everybody for a week, okay, like don't do it again. All right. But what they did was they rolled back your progress. I think it was like 10 days or something. And, it was a huge rollback. It wasn't just like
I'd have taken the ban. I'd just taken the ban at that point.
Now that'll make someone want to break code at that point.
God, that's horrible.
Doing that.
That's hard. So will you be able to, when you get the Steam version, are you going to be able to transfer everything over? Will it sync or what?
Great question. I think I did this for Wildlands.
Okay.
When I originally bought Wildlands on their Ubisoft whatever it was called before, Connect. I don't know.
I know what you're talking about.
And then I somehow filed a ticket and got my stuff transferred. I think I have to go back and look, because that's what I'm planning on doing. But I definitely remember moving from their Ubisoft thing to Steam for Wildlands. But Division 2 is a much newer game. I don't know if it would work the same way. But
I can't see where they would offer that and not offer a transfer of.
It might not be like something they outright offer. It just might be something that if you ask, they might do it.
Yeah. Well, I believe, I mean, that was the case when Bungie lost Activision, whenever they went independent and got rid of Activision, and people had to move from using the game on Blizzard to using the game on Steam. I say Blizzard, whatever, the Battle.net. And then move it over to Steam. It was like, yeah, we're going to transfer everything. Of course, that was the fact that it was going to not exist anymore on that storefront, whereas this is not the case. These are two different storefronts, and we'll see. It's one of those things where if you had the Division on Epic Games Store and you had it on Steam, none of your stuff's going to talk to each other. So I'm not certain that it's going to. I really feel like it should, but I don't know that it will. We'll see. I'm not sure. But
yeah, they should figure that out, because there's ways that you can get it. Like, there's some games that support that. One game that I recently installed just because somebody else did was the World War Z game, the zombie game, the two-player co-op. And I was playing on Epic Store. It was the first game I ever played on Epic Store, but it was free. And then somebody else had bought it on Steam, and they said, "Hey, do you want to play this?" And I said, "Can we?" And we both went in, and there's a 5-digit invite code that you send to somebody, and it allows them to either join from, Steam to Epic or Epic to Steam, which I thought was, a nice little thing to throw in there, so that a game isn't just singularly using Steamworks for all of its online play, which is great.
Yep. Hey, Steve, we're at the top of the hour here. We got to take a break. Can you hang on through the break?
I think I can. I think I can. So, yeah, I'll be here.
All right. I hope you can. And when we come back, we're going to go right to you, RJ, and find out what you've been doing over these holidays as well. Right now, we got music from a game called Zero Ranger. I don't know anything about it. I don't remember where I picked up these games from. I did it earlier this week, and as much as this week was only a short week for me, and it may not have been for you, but short week for me. My memory is horrible as to, I don't even remember when I did these songs. I guess Wednesday? I don't remember. Anyway, we'll come back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Potion Craft, which this was one of those games I kept putting in my cart on Steam and then kept taking out afterwards. This is the track on this one is called Alchemist's Tale, so in case you're curious about that. Potion Craft. Welcome back to the show. Steve with us here from the Discord, Duke Frucom. But I wanted to get to you, RJ, because we didn't talk about like what you had done over the holidays, what you'd gotten, what you played. So I want to hear all of that. What have you been doing?
Just in terms of getting things, just basically gift cards and cash. So using that towards gaming if need be. So
and a new motherboard.
Yeah. I'm gonna need to get one of those. Hopefully the one that I got now is still available, and I believe it is. It's old tech, but it's still available. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing that. So outside of that, gaming-wise, still playing a bunch of Warframe. And I've just found out that there's another ability that the Warframes have that I just didn't know about.
And you still can't connect with AC Wraith for some reason.
Yeah, I've been trying to put the names in and everything like that, and it keeps saying that this username does not exist. And then I come to find out that there's some mess going on with the naming system in the game. Like there's some bug in there with the crossplay that they put out there.
Yeah.
It won't let names aren't being recognized.
Okay.
Last I checked, they were still working on it. But I've been tried the name he gave me, the code that came there with it, and every name I put in there, it says username does not exist. So I couldn't figure it out. And then we got another person playing who's playing on PS5, and eventually he's going to want to get with our group as well. And so I'm wondering if he's going to run into the same issue that we are. And if it's been fixed yet, I don't know. But I didn't realize that, like I'm saying, I didn't realize there was a ability that the frames had. You could stick to the walls like Spider-Man. It's called wall latch. And I found it by accident. I was looking for something else online, and that method popped in, was just happened to be there. I found it by accident. If I hadn't found it, I would have never known what wall latching was. I could do wall running. I could do that.
I've still discovered things in Destiny that I've been playing Destiny for as long as I've been playing Destiny, and there's still new things that I discovered.
Yeah. So, yeah, in my case, it's basically while doing a wall run, aim, and you will stick where you are. And I've got a perk on there that lets me sit on there for about a good 4 to 6 seconds. So I can got all day to line up a shot or do something else while sticking to a wall. I'm like, wow, I really could have used this on the parts where I had to wall jump a L-shaped corridor and not touch the floor because I'd have been shocked to death if I'd done so.
Yeah, and this doesn't. It's not on the same scale. But when I got my new headphones, not these that I'm wearing, but when I got the new headphones at home, I've talked about this. I put them on, and I heard things in Destiny that I've never heard before. Because whatever reason, I was using something that was not this. Ever how old that Turtle Beach headset was that I so enjoyed. I found the Rocats, these new Rocats that did exactly what the Turtle Beaches did that I needed them to do, but they were so much better. I mean, my God.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I bought a couple of headsets myself off that. Yeah, still got them.
But point being is that there's playing the game for however long I'm playing it, and there's new things to discover all the time.
Yeah, but you've been playing it consistently, day by day by day.
Yeah, I know.
And in my case, Warframe was sporadic off and on, and only lately have I been playing
putting in the time with it,
time with it consistently. So there was probably a whole bunch of things that I have yet to discover. I mean, there's an event going on right now, but I can't get into it because I have to get some elements from Arc-wing missions, the flying in space with your wingsuit on.
Oh, okay.
And then there's missions I got to do with that, but I've only done like 2 of those. And I know missions are repeatable in the game, but I've got to do those consistently to get the parts that I need to go to the foundry so I can build the cipher I need to attend the event.
Oh.
So I guess I'm going to do Arc-wing missions now. So a lot of things I'm discovering and playing in that game as well. Street Fighter, I went back into. It's been a minute since I played any fighting game, really. And that's my bread and butter. I should be going back to that more consistently, but Warframe. Then something else I was planning to do, and apologies to Biloxi on this, because I was meaning to play The Quarry. That's
right. You picked that up over the Black Friday.
I don't want to play The Quarry. I want to have something else to talk about besides the other 2 games I played. But unfortunately, I made the common mistake, and I do this all the time. New game, sit it to the side, don't play it for a minute, then decide to play it, put it in the system, update. A big update.
Really? Is it a big one?
The 3-hour update that I have to
3 hours? Wait a second.
3 hours.
A 3-hour update.
How fast is your internet?
Not fast enough, apparently.
You've got good internet, man. Well, how big was the file?
I don't know, but all I did was 3 hours. 3 hours, and I put the disc in the system around 1:00, and the thing said 3 hours to update. I'm like, oh. What
day was this?
Today.
Oh, today?
I wanted it fresh on my mind when I came in. I wanted to get it fresh on my mind. Play about 2 hours of the game, and then get it fresh on my mind and start playing. And all of a sudden, this thing said 3-hour update, and I was like, oh god. So I won't be able to do it until tonight after the show. Start playing that, and then I'll have. Well, at least I have more material to talk about next week when I start playing.
Was it downloading directly from PSN?
Going from PSN, yeah. I do have.
So I've had
from the disc
trouble in the past
that, yeah.
where they either I don't know if they throttle the connections, and then it just takes like a really long time to get big updates on on the PlayStation before. I've seen that before, but not 3 hours. I mean, I walked away from it and come back, and it's done. That's the kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But 3 hours seems excessive.
I know. I was trying to find like the size of it. All I found was this was in July. They did an update, and it was it's update 1.03. Online multiplayer was added. Outfits and more was added as well. So
I want to say
sure.
I want to say 1.05.
Probably you were downloading quite a few, but that's man.
I mean, I've had lengthy update downloads before. I mean, it's nothing new to me. It's just ill timing in my case. But you talk about Duke about throttling and connections and things like that. I never heard of anything like that. I guess it's something I'm just used to.
I remember hearing about it because Sony had to make either Sony had to make an apology or at least had to come clean about it. Mm-hmm. From what I understand, they had to be public about it to say that this is what happened.
Oh well,
I swear I think it was that, but maybe it wasn't. But I know that's a thing.
Well, in my case, like I said, I guess I'm just used to it because I've had lengthy downloads plenty of times. New games coming in that I've put aside and I put it up in there. If I start playing and there's an update that I never got.
That's a ridiculous update. 3 hours, man.
That's not the smallest though.
I just play it as is without the update. Anything else? Did you get around anything else? Play anything else?
No, pretty much that's it. That's pretty much all I've was able to do these past 2 weeks. There's a whole bunch of Warframe, the occasional Street Fighter or Virtua Fighter or whatnot in between, and trying to play the Quarry, but that'll be next week.
All right.
Yep.
Well, Steve, what about you? I mean, we talked about already and not necessarily what you've been playing, but something you wanted to talk about. Well, the Star Wars thing?
Well, yeah, I know there's a bunch in development, but it's also tied into why I kind of wanted to dive back into Division, is because the guys that did Division Massive, they were awarded a Star Wars contract or an IP or whatever. They're going to be building a Star Wars game, and there was a report that was released, I think, this week that kind of points to the kind of No Man's Sky exploration that will be included in this game. So I'm thinking, what this game is going to be like. If it's anything like Division in its open worldness, and it's anything like No Man's Sky in its exploration, my expectations now are through the roof for this game. But I mean, so Massive they have a balancing problem with their games normally. They can't figure out, how to balance incentive with people that just want to do single player stuff or at least offline stuff, and then the PvP stuff.
It can be hard to get that right.
Yeah,
it can be difficult to find that or to draw that balance or find that balance for your player base.
Super hard, and I think they even hired like a third-party developer to help them with Division, and then they said, okay, we're going to do something different for Division 2, but that's my only big question mark is how they're going to make that system work and of course incorporate loot in the in-game economy and all that. But technically speaking, if they're doing those two combinations of games, then and again in the Star Wars universe, that should excite a lot of people.
No, that sounds great. Because when I was reading your little blurb there, I mean, if they take the aspect of No Man's Sky but put it in the Star Wars universe, there you go. Print your money.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about No Man's Sky a couple of months ago when just all the updates came back, and the game is just incredible from where it was at launch.
Yep.
So I'm not expecting, all of those updates into this game, but just the taking off from planets ability, warping ability, visiting other settlements ability, which I think a lot of people are expecting in the new Bethesda game as well. I think that's going to be like the building block. No Man's Sky was the blueprint on how these other games kind of get space travel right.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I'm just excited about that report.
Well, fantastic, man. I saw you on playing other games and, seeing your achievement list and Cookie Clicker and everything else. So
I finished Callisto Protocol 2 over break. I don't know if you guys ever talked about that in depth.
We didn't talk in depth about it because none of us played it. We only talked about some of the problems it was having. We talked about some of the reviews as well, just seeing that it was all style, no substance type of thing, where it looked really good, but It was also plagued with issues on PC, I believe. Did you play it? Would you play it on PC or?
Yeah.
I heard it was plagued, but I think they fixed those, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
They did in a patch. Best looking game I've ever played.
I was going to say it's apparently a very good looking game. I mean, the guy who and I really got to remember dude's name because I've been watching a lot of his videos. He did a wrap up, a year in review type of thing. And in fact, so did Digital Foundry, the guys who do the breakdown of the technical breakdown of the graphics quality in some games.
Yeah.
Where they go over the stuff, and they did their top 3 of 2022, their best looking games, top 3 of 2022, and number 2 or number 3, I can't remember which one it was. Number 3 or number 2 is Callisto Protocol. And they talked about it and they said, yeah, the reviews aren't that great, that sort of thing. But it is a good looking game. And the same guy who blasted the thing, saying like, it's not scary, it's got too many bugs, but I got to give it this because it is the best looking game I've seen so far type of thing. And it was just, yeah.
I read a little bit on how they were able to achieve that too, because normally with these types of games that have a lot of, character movements and fights, and they built their own motion studio, like in-house in striking distance. Whereas a lot of other, AAA, they'll lease it out to like maybe a Hollywood company or someone, that does it for a living.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, hey, we want these motions, right? Do this, this, and this. And then they'll get a package back. But if they ever want to tweak something, they have to go back to that third party company and say, hey, can you do this maybe a little bit differently? And they didn't have to do any of that because they could just change it in-house, and then it would allow them to focus more on the environments and, spend more time to make it actually really pop, rather than some of the animations, which usually take, most of the time.
Yeah. By the way, their number 1 game on the best looking game of 2022 was Horizon Forbidden West.
Forbidden West, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying about graphics. I mean, I think I've said this before. The game looking pretty, it's not really doesn't move me as much because there's so much tech and equipment out there that you can use to make a pretty game. It's like it should be pretty at this point in time. It doesn't take too much effort to do so. I mean, I think about L.A. Noire when you talk about in-house and then having their own motion capture thing like that. I want to say L.A. Noire did that because they did the facial recognition technology because it was essential to the gameplay. They had to get that right because it was the only way you could determine what was fact or fiction in that game, being a detective and whatnot. So yeah,
right. Looking at the facial expressions of some of the people that you're.
It didn't always work either, but yeah.
Man, that's another game I never played that I always wanted to get around.
Really, you never played L.A. Noire?
No, I gotta. I mean, that's one that if you let go too far, you're not gonna want to ever go back to. That's kind of like almost like a staple game. Kind of a.
It is, yeah.
Milestone game in that area. Yep. But the other thing too, RJ, to kind of talk about, how games look. The death animations in this game, almost like my stomach. This never happened. Like I watch a lot of horror movies. I love horror games. But in this game, I had to do double takes a couple of times because there was some of the most graphic death animations, and you die a lot. Protocol. You die a lot just based on the dodging mechanic, which is probably one of the complaints too about the game.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about
if you ever want to look at some, go on YouTube. It's a little bit different too when you kind of you're with the character and you're him, and something happens to you, and it's just like whoa, it takes you. It's real. It looks real. Yeah. It looks like it's really happening. It's pretty up there.
I think I'll do that tonight. I think I'll look up some of the death animations.
Yeah, I think I looked up. There was a whole thing about that with Dead Space as well. So if you're a Dead Space veteran, you pretty much have an idea. So they tried to you're trying to outdo Dead Space. I mean, did they achieve it? You think?
Yeah, they achieved it well beyond. And I think they were almost set. I think this game is banned in a lot of countries because of it, because they were not willing to censor some of the death animations. I don't even think this thing was able to be released in Japan, for example.
Well, is it possible? Is it possible that was too much of the focus? That's why the rest of the game had elements that fell short.
No, I don't think that is the main complaint. I just think they lost track of maybe where they wanted to go with the game, and in the sense of, okay, we don't want to be Dead Space, but we want to do our own thing, but we also can't get into the trap of just being Dead Space, right? You can't.
It's kind of hard to escape the image of Dead Space. That was almost a direct comparison right off the bat of the thing. So,
Totally. Yeah. And there's some great scenes. Like, don't get me wrong. There's some great maps, great levels. The combat's okay with especially except for the dodging thing. But the really thing that you hit on is it's not scary, and it's overlong. Like they reuse this one technique over and over, and it irritated the crap out of me. Was in some third party game, like over the shoulder games, if you want to squeeze through like a tight space and you have to get into this, the camera will shift and the character will either like be his back up against the wall and move forward, but maybe there's a ledge he's got to get across. They did that so many times that I was like throwing my hands up, be like, how many tight spaces do I have to squeeze through and crawl through vents? Like, those are the two things, and it totally drags the gameplay down to a halt. And I think they only did that just to like stretch out the gameplay time.
Yeah, that was one of the only complaints that I read about God of War Ragnarok was the aspect of like you've got to crawl under something, or you've got to go through this crack in a rock to get to the other side, or something like that. There is a ton of those in God of War, and I think from what I understand, one of the developers said it is the easiest way for them to sort of funnel the player into a specific area type of thing, it's done in a way that they can keep the player going in a certain direction that they want them to go in. And it also, for some things, it opens up arenas to you. So when you go through there, suddenly it's like, okay, you got to fight this thing, or it opens into an arena for you to do, or it just kind of moves along. You can go back and forth in Ragnarok. You can go, if you go through one of those areas, you can come back out the other end. But it was done to put the player and the enemy types in a specific situation. And it was all related to gameplay in God of War's case. Callisto Protocol, I have no idea because I haven't played that, but I would think maybe it's the same thing. I don't know, but yeah, it's way overdone.
I mean, in terms of crawling through tight spaces and things like that, I was doing that in an older game, of course, I know, but Metal Gear Solid all the time.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid, you were doing specifically crawling through vents and under things and doing all that type of stuff, but that was expected. I guess that was part of the element because you were stealthy. You were a stealth game. You were doing that all the time. Yeah. But in Callisto Protocol, it's just about, I would think, if it's anything like Dead Space, it's about survival and doing whatever you can to get, doing whatever you can to survive in this game. But I think I remember some elements of Dead Space where you were crawling through things like that, but not a lot. It was like maybe one, maybe two vent crawling things or a situation like that.
They usually use them for loading, I believe, don't they?
Yeah, usually for ladders they do, or elevators they would do loading, stuff like that.
Or long hallways.
In Dead Space 1, they had the loading screen in that tram.
Right.
That was the
tram was.
I can't remember with the other two games, but I mean, I'm gonna play through it again when New Game Plus comes out. But I was a little bit disappointed with Closer Protocol overall.
How much time have you spent through that first playthrough? How many hours did it last, that first playthrough?
11. Yeah. And I think I actually went back and reloaded a scene to get an achievement. So probably like 10
Of course you
change.
did. Of course you did. It's exactly something you would have done. By the way, so I mean, okay, that's the prettiest game you played last year. What's your top 3 of last year?
Well, it's tough
even
to
if it's
answer.
Even if it's not new stuff, even if it's like Deep Rock Galactic or something, and you're like, okay, that was the game I put more time in on this year, or I liked it, or whatever. What are your top 3 for the year?
Well, I'll give you two more that I mean, we talked about No Man's Sky, just the updates that continued. They were
Right.
3 major ones this year. So I don't know if that counts, but just what they've been doing to improve that game, I think, is worthy of anybody trying and seeing if you can get past the crummy, GUI and inventory system. That's the real hang up there. But that's mainly for like console. It's like the same game in console and PC, so they just kept it the same. But the other game that had a bunch of releases that was, I mean, I haven't played the game in a couple of years, so when I booted back up, City Skylines.
Oh, nice.
Bunch of new packages that basically cause a mini game inside your city that allows you to focus on, and it's really tough to get right. I've already destroyed one of my city's economy trying to get my industries correct, so I'm trying to rebuild a new city.
I need to do that. I've gone back into it and loaded up an older city, and I'm like, oh God, what do I do? I need to start fresh. I need to start.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I disabled all my mods. I started fresh, and then I slowly started bringing mods back in because there's some that you kind of need, like the traffic mods that help you kind of direct traffic left and right, ban left-handed turns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But those are the two games that just are old games, but continue to kind of be effective, in their recent releases.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like when developers do that because I don't need a City Skylines 2. I just need you to kind of add things to the current game that, make it a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have a top 3 from last year at all, RJ? Elden Ring, I would guess.
Elden Ring would probably be one of them for me, but I haven't really thought about a top 3 or whatever. I haven't really given it much thought, to be honest with you.
I haven't given it a lot of thought.
I don't play many current releases anymore.
I know.
There's very few times where I buy games at release or even use the Game Pass to play.
That's why. Yeah, that's why I kind of said it can be anything because I'm in the same boat, man. There's not a lot of new releases that I've played, and I'm trying to go back earlier in the year to be like, what was I playing earlier in the year that I was doing a lot with? I mean, outside of obviously Destiny, what was I playing? And there was, well, I was going to say Animal Crossing, but no, I wasn't playing it. I thought there was something on the Switch that I was playing. It's amazing how our brains will just be like, boop, gone. We might have spent some time.
I gotta
with
drop,
it, but it's
guys.
All right, man.
Okay.
Good talking to you, and I'll try to catch you in next week's show too.
All right, dude. All right. Take care. Bye bye.
Oh,
see ya.
I was going to say, probably for me, God of War Ragnarok is up there. I feel like I should leave Destiny out of it just because I play it all the time. It doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to play it. I would throw in, I haven't played it a lot, but I really liked Cult of the Lamb. I really enjoyed what I played of that. I still have Sifu to play, and I haven't played that. I bought that, and I haven't played it. Still got Horizon Forbidden West, and I've got what's that other Ratchet and Clank to play, and I've got those, but I haven't done anything with them. So, I mean, I would say for this year, I would throw in for the 3, just off the top of my head. Oh, well, never mind. Here we go. I got your 3. God of War Ragnarok, it's just fantastic. Story is so far great. It looks fantastic. Enjoying it very well. Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
That is just one of the most simplest concepts. Probably one of the most simplest games he's ever had to make. And the dude is raking in the dough from it. Amazing game. Vampire Survivors on my list there for that one. And then just here recently, I got to throw in, and I suppose it's a mobile game, but I got to go with Marble. I got to go with Marvel Snap. This is something that, you know what? Do you have 3 minutes? Play around. Play a match. 3 minutes? You don't even have to have 3 minutes. It can be shorter than that, depending. But yeah, it's quick. It's right there on the phone. It's also on the PC. It's free to play. It does. I haven't put any money into this thing, and I likely never will. I don't need to, but
it's entertaining you.
It is. It's holding it, and it's a card game, for God's sakes. I've never been down on the card games before, like Gwent and Hearthstone. I guess you could even say Magic, the Gathering or whatever. This is not on any of those levels that I know of. Those games have always been, I don't want to say out of my reach, but games where it's like, I'm going to have to learn how to play that really hard. I'm going to have to really put some effort into learning how to play that. They dumbed it down. They found a card game they could put on my level, as I just banged my head with my phone here. And I've been playing it. It's fantastic. I have a big collection of cards here, although my one deck only has 12 cards there. And I've only ever used that one deck while I'm playing. So yeah, I really love it. It's called Marvel Snap, and that's a great game. So, all right, we got to take a break, and when we come back, maybe we'll jump into some news. I don't know. We haven't really started talking about it now, so why start? I guess. Here is music from a game called Melatonin, which is something I take every night, except I didn't last night. But most nights I take melatonin to help me go to sleep. The CPAP really just helps me go to sleep, but the melatonin really helps me go to sleep. But anyway, this is called Melatonin, or the game is called Melatonin. The track is called Technology. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Odin Sphere. Battlefields of Raging Storm is the name of the track. Odin Sphere. Never heard of it. I think it was a sequel, or there was something that was done and I couldn't find music for that. So I just picked that one up. I think. I don't remember, actually. Hey, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
Biloxi Gambling.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll let you talk to RJ for a while.
Hey, RJ, I'll talk to RJ all the time. I haven't done the quarry either. Man of Medan. I thought you was going to try me. I've tried to turn you on to Man of Medan.
I thought you played that.
I've got them, but I haven't started yet. I haven't finished Until Dawn yet. But I was going to play the quarry. Like
Stop being me. Stop being me. Don't be me.
No. You start the games, but you have those long gaps in between.
I haven't. Well, no, I did finish Until Dawn. Wait, you haven't finished Until Dawn?
Haven't finished it, yeah.
What? I thought we talked about it.
We talked about it, but I haven't finished it.
Did I spoil it?
No.
Okay.
You just spoiled it.
Because I thought because in my mind right now, I thought you finished the game.
No. I haven't finished it, but I've started it, but that was something I haven't finished yet.
Well, since you're talking to two people who have finished it, where are you in that game? Do you remember?
Dang, what was it?
No, I guess you
Have
don't.
you seen the dragon yet?
Have you what?
No, not
Have
yet.
you seen the dragon yet?
Dragon? No.
The dragon?
The dragon? No. That's not ringing a bell, so no.
Yeah, well, you ain't going to see one either.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's no dragon in the game.
Well, good. All right. But that one of the things I haven't finished yet, but I wanted to start on the quarry. Like I said, I wanted to talk about it when I got here, but I had that.
Well, let me
update.
ask you this: as far as Until Dawn, do you remember that you were a good ways into it? Like, do you remember how much time you had put into it? You don't.
Not
okay.
not too long. I'm not like near the conclusion. I don't think I'm near the conclusion at all yet.
Okay. Have you gotten to any sort of supernatural element of the story?
I think I'm getting a
forgot.
touch of it
Maybe.
because I remember
There were hints. There were hints of it.
There were
you
hints
know.
of it. I know.
Yeah. And then it becomes full-fledged, supernatural thing happening by the time you get to the end of it. But
What I have found with supermassive games is it's best to play them in order of their series because they have callbacks to a game they've already published.
interesting. Okay. That is interesting to know, because I thought they were all kind of anthology games where it's like, and they're not connected. There's probably callbacks, but they're not connected.
It says it's not connected because you had Until Dawn, then you had the Dark Pictures
The
anthology.
Dark Pictures anthology, I could see those being connected some way.
And then
The Quarry also
Quarry,
sits outside of
it
those
sits
as well.
outside.
Yeah.
So Until Dawn, the Quarry is supposed to be the out on the bookends, the outside of
Right.
the Dark Pictures anthology. Yeah.
And then the Dark Pictures anthology has what, 4 titles? 3?
Yeah.
4?
4.
4
Well,
titles.
is the Devil in Me part of it?
The Devil in Me is part of it. That is
Devil in Me is the latest one.
That's
Yeah.
the season finale of season 1 of the Dark Pictures anthology.
So it's Man of Medan, Little Hope, House of Ashes, and then The Devil in Me.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, those 4.
Those 4.
Those 4 titles.
I
Yeah.
haven't started Devil in Me yet. I'm waiting for you to do Man of Me. Well,
Good luck.
the other ones. You got to finish Until Dawn first. Then I'll worry about
I got to finish Until Dawn.
the Devil in Me. Yeah, I hadn't really. I watched a lot of football, and then I did something similar to a farming simulation. Only I actually did the soil test, and I've been out there liming and increasing the nitrogen and the phosphorus and the magnesium out there in the field for real. And then the weather tried to freeze me to death.
Right.
And then I made sausage balls. You know what, though?
God,
the
I love
recipe
sausage balls.
for sausage balls is not really good because it says, you cook them 450, 25 minutes, right?
Yeah.
What? Here's an error that I found. They don't specify how large the sausage balls are supposed to be, right? So I made mine too big, obviously, because I think it was raw sausage in the middle.
Oh, yeah. No, that's bad.
And you can imagine, there was some negative effects of doing that. by
Yeah,
the way.
there are.
And but other than that, I lived through the holiday. I understand how y'all work 2 hours a week and have to take 2 weeks off. I feel for you. And of course, I'm joking because Jay really doesn't get a day off.
No,
So,
thank you.
If he took a day off, the radio station would go off the entire air. So
I took one. I took one this week. I took Tuesday off.
well, who covered?
Well, they tried. Except I came in on Monday. Nobody else was here Monday, but I came in on Monday because I had to monitor something, and so I decided to take Tuesday off. So anyway,
Well, you monitor stuff from your house too, I think.
yeah, but see, the problem is I live in Prattville. So if there is something, I can monitor from the house. I can do a lot from the house.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if there's something that comes up and I can't do it from the house, it's 20 minutes until I can get here to get it fixed.
Yep.
So
all we can do is hope it's not a dead air situation.
yeah, so in a situation like what we had Monday where I needed to monitor something, I was like, it's probably best for me to be here. Turns out I could have stayed home, but I'm still glad I came in just to make sure everything was fine. So
Oh, yeah. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, something about a new syndicated show. on
Right,
another channel
yeah,
or
correct,
something.
yeah.
But anyway, all right, man. I just wanted to check in with you. That's my update. So,
Well,
but yeah, finish Until Dawn.
Yeah,
catch the
yeah.
rest of it too.
So yeah, before I do that, I need to finish Until Dawn.
yeah, all right.
Yeah, and I got to do the. I'll start on I'll start on what is it called? The Devil in Me.
Yeah.
I'll
Devil in
start on that soon. I'm waiting on RJ to catch up with me.
All right.
All right. Well, then there you go.
All right, I'll talk to y'all later.
See you,
Thank
man.
you. Bye-bye.
See ya.
I can put my guilt trip on it. See, this
no
man
guilt
cannot.
trip.
This man cannot play his games until you finish until dawn.
Yeah, you can.
See, you're doing. Ooh, Mega Millions. Well, it just hit $1 billion.
Again?
Yeah, we're at Mega Millions. We're at $1 billion now.
Okay. Here's the deal. It's going to be split between 4 people or one person who is a senior citizen and won't live to collect the entire bundle. No. Serious, man. Look,
I know how it goes.
It was all went to me because when I saw a couple hit this big lottery, one guy, the husband was reminiscing about World War II, and the wife was physically there but mentally just gone. And she wasn't going to be able to function. So yeah, that's pretty much. And I looked at them and said, okay, yeah, they're not gonna survive living. They're not going to survive to take the entire for a bundle. They're not going to do it.
Now, back to Until Dawn.
Yeah.
I thought I was bad with Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah. Much
You're going to
worse.
have to start from the beginning.
Maybe.
That's a good point. Maybe. It depends on how far you're in. You may not have to.
Or I may as well. Look, I did it with Sekiro.
Yeah.
Sekiro.
Yeah, but you like that stuff.
Yeah.
You like the hard stuff.
That's Sekiro, yeah.
Yeah, you like the difficulty in that.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the way, Mortal Shell, I believe, is available on PlayStation Plus, I think? Mm-hmm. Or is it Games Pass? It may be Game Pass. It's a Souls-like.
Yeah.
Is what it's considered as. Mm-hmm. So just, letting you know that that's out there. So
Okay.
There's lots of Souls-likes, but Mortal Shell, I believe, is what it's called. So, so yeah.
I still got a playthrough to do with Elden Ring and Bloodborne. Yeah, Bloodborne as well. So yeah.
Yeah, Bloodborne. It's not on PC. It's still on PlayStation.
I don't think it's on PC.
Yeah.
It should be. I mean, it's dated long enough. It should be on PC.
I'd like it to be on PC, and then I would download a God mode hack on it so that I wouldn't die. Because I'd love to play it. I really would. I'm the kind of guy. I'm the kind of player. Now, Destiny, I don't necessarily look for a challenge of Destiny or anything. Destiny, just put that aside for a minute. In my my single player story based games, I'm the kind of guy that I'm not playing you for the challenge. I'm playing you for the story that you're giving me. It's the reason I bought it. I've never looked at a game and thought that's going to give me a lot of challenging frustration. Mm-hmm. I want to buy that. No, that's never. I've never looked at that. Maybe actually. They're those dollar games where it's like, ooh, that sounds like a fun challenge. But no, when I go into those, I don't set the difficulty all the way to the top. Usually I keep it in the center, but then sometimes I go all the way to just give me the story, which is great because a lot of developers are starting to recognize this.
Yeah. You're paying top price for a play along movie.
Yeah, and so they've put in difficulties there where it's like I'm just here for the story.
Spectator mode or
like I took God of War. I took God of War from the default setting, and I dropped it one level less from the outset. I don't exactly remember why I did that. Maybe I was just having trouble with the fighting or something, getting my combat down. Mm-hmm. Man, I picked it up a few days ago, or maybe it was a couple of weeks ago. No, it was just last week. It was last week I picked up God of War Ragnarok again after not playing it for maybe a week and a half. Mm-hmm. And man, the combat clicked. It just suddenly, I was like, oh, I got my rhythm. Mm. Like you go for this, then you do this, then you attack, back up, throw this major attack from this distance, set them on fire so there's the burning, then throw this, and I had my pattern down. Mm. Yeah, and I've been doing pretty good with it. Okay. So, very surprising, but yeah, I love it when the combat clicks like that. So anyway,
it's kind of like what I did with that, what happened for me with Senua's Sacrifice. Simple, but when you get a flow going and know exactly what you want to do after this phase or whatever, yeah.
Yep. There was a lot of news I wanted to go over here, like GameIndustry.biz did a year in numbers for 2022. We'll save that for next week. what else was there? There was a lot of games of 2022 type of thing. Basically a recap of what the year was. And I kind of wanted to go over some of that. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that next week. Because we just don't have time to do that now. And I'm perfectly fine with that. So just after what we've been playing, and I guess, I don't know, what do you got any plans for gaming tonight or this coming week?
I want to see the status of my Quarry download, which should be done. Hopefully done.
Yeah.
Look, I'm serious, man. 3 hours is not the longest I've had to wait for downloads and updates on a game.
Well, I can understand if you're downloading an entire game. An update, though, you shouldn't have a 3-hour update.
I'm used to it.
You know?
It's happened plenty of times.
I want to say Red Dead Redemption took a good chunk of time whenever I put that in the machine. Maybe an hour. Maybe. But that was the original launch. So, kept up with it after that. But I can't remember what the longest thing was that I've had to wait for a download. I mean, obviously, you'd have to go back when our internet speeds were a lot slower, and I could give you plenty of things that took a while to download. But I don't know. As far as games, I'm not sure. Oh, I do know. Well, no, that's not. Maybe. It doesn't matter anymore because games are huge. But I remember Force Unleashed. Star Wars The Force Unleashed on PC was like 20 gigs. Which at the time seemed like a lot of space to be eating up your computer. I mean, it still kind of is.
I'm trying to remember off of memory what the gigs was. It was going to be 3 hours.
But then again, I think Destiny 2 now with all the updates is 80-something gigs?
It was double-digit gigs. God. It wasn't over 20. I know that. It wasn't over 20. I know that much. Maybe closer to 10, but 3 hours is what I was looking at more than anything else. It was going to be 3 hours.
Huh.
Yeah. But, so I'll check on the status of that.
Yeah.
Until dawn.
Shame you can't play.
And I'm going to squeeze in some Warframe.
I was going to say, it's a shame you can't play Until Dawn while Quarry downloads. I don't think you can. Maybe you can. I don't know.
Probably could. I mean, I'm not going off the disc. Because that's coming from, like Duke said earlier, it's coming from the network.
Yeah.
It's coming from the network. The patch is going into the hard drive. So I don't need the disk for that.
That's another thing. I don't know. What are you going to do about your computer?
Well, I've done the testing and everything. I've taken everything away from the board.
It's not the power supply.
It's not the power supply because I've swapped power supplies and I've had a Thermaltake Dr. Power 2 used and nothing came wrong.
For those of you who are wondering, he tried to turn on his computer. It will not stay on for more than 2 seconds?
2 seconds. Like comes on, then 2 seconds cuts off.
Nothing shows up on screen. It just, your computer starts up and then shuts down.
Starts up and shuts down. Yeah, so...
thought it was a power supply. He tested it and changed it out. Not a power supply issue.
Same result.
Same result.
That happened. Then I went down the checklist, disconnect everything, switch your RAM around, put on the minimum in there, check your processor, make sure it's not overheating. How long has it been since you put thermal paste on there? Been a minute. Checked it.
Really? You have to update the thermal paste? I've never done that.
That was a checklist, and I went down the checklist and everything. But I wanted it to be the last thing I had to check for was it might be your motherboard. And like we were talking about earlier, every time something goes wrong with the motherboard, unless there's elements to check, which I don't know how to do, it's probably going to end up replacing the motherboard.
Yeah.
Most
that
likely.
sounds like what it probably is, because I remember we were talking and I said, well, just download some updates on a USB drive, put that in your PC. Go into the BIOS, but you can't even get to the BIOS.
No.
Because that screen does not show up. This computer does not stay on long enough to even get the BIOS. Right. So basically, your computer isn't posting is what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have to guess, since you haven't done anything, you haven't taken anything apart or put anything back in other than doing the testing that you did when it started, that has to be a motherboard issue.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it first started when the computer was on. And all of a sudden, it just cut off.
How old's the motherboard?
Oh, years. It's years. It's years old. I I mean, I'm trying to remember when I built the thing.
What's years is what I'm saying. Mine is years old because I bought it in 2020. So mine is years old, but how many years old?
Older than that, I think.
I mean, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't update stuff like that. I mean, I don't do too much on a computer to merit.
Well, if anybody
updating
is listening to this, whether
the year or so,
whether it be now or whether they listen to it on the podcast later and you have some idea, hit us up with an email, everyone@ingamechat.net. Find us on Twitter. Some way, just reach out, get in touch with us. Hell, call us next week if you want to, and let us know of a solution on this. We're going to have to cut short there because we are out of time. Anyway, I hope that we can get some solution for you on that, because a computer that's dead is one of the worst things, man. One of the, especially if all you got is one, it is one of the worst. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us. I want to thank everybody. Thank you, RJ, for coming in. I know you probably felt like sleeping.
I did sleep.
I know.
I almost didn't make it.
I know.
My body just said, get up, and all of a sudden it's almost showtime. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank everybody who called in, Soldier Boy, Chris, Biloxi Gambler, Steve, Duke Frucom. Thank you guys so much for a fantastic year and for another year of shows lined up for this year. Thank you. Everybody have a fantastic weekend and a week, and we'll see you next Saturday. This is music from Predecessor. It is the menu of that game. We'll see you next Saturday.